All right, everyone, appreciate you tuning into the channel. So, in the video today, I'm going to talk about my path to becoming a millionaire at 30 years old, and hopefully, you guys will be able to take away some good advice, some good nuggets from this video. Maybe even gather some inspiration as well. So, um, first off, one thing that's super important, right? And if you listen to Dave Ramsey and, other financial experts, you can't be in debt, right? Debt is the ultimate curse to getting away. So that's something to keep in mind. That's point number one. Point number two. So ultimately, I was 992K was the highest my net worth was. And I was about 30 years old and a half. So that's the caveat, guys. My net worth actually has never hit 1 million. It hit 992K. I was 8K away, but ultimately I'm rounding up, guys, and I count that as 1 million. So getting started. So basically, something that was really key is I was fortunate and privileged enough to where my parents, I got a half ride to the college that I went to. I got a half ride scholarship, and my parents were able to pay for the other half. So that was something I'm really blessed and really fortunate. I know that not everybody has that same position, but ultimately, whether you have student loans or whether you decide that college isn't the route for you, having a negative net worth, having credit card debt, having loans is the ultimate death to achieving your financial freedom. So if you have student loans, like many people, who are aspiring to become, something greater and to pay it back tenfold in the future, then ultimately that's what you have to do. But phase one is getting out of debt, right? So I was out of debt at around 21 years old. I was financially on my own, just graduated from college, and I was on my own. So basically I started my career in sales. I'm not going to get into what type of sales for confidentiality reasons. But basically, I started my career in sales, really grinded, was saving, was skimping, really didn't have much of a quality of life. I basically lived for the weekend, was grinding. I remember my base salary at the time. This was probably in 2017. My base salary at the time, I remember, was $37,000, I think. Worked at that company in a lead generation sales role. Then I quickly, about 6 months later, went to another company. My base salary became $50K, and I ended up making some commission in that job. I remember the first time I got a big commission check, and I made like $4,000 in one pay stub, and I saw the $4,000 in my Wells Fargo. I was just blown away. I felt like I hit the lottery that day. So slowly it started climbing up. Overall, as my career progressed, I started saving a lot, putting a lot of investments into Fidelity mutual funds, right? So if you guys don't know what a mutual fund is, basically that's, it's not as risky as buying Tesla or Apple or Microsoft or one individual company, but you're buying essentially like the whole S&P 500 or 500 different companies, 100 different companies, the best ones too. And it's a really good way to diversify your portfolio. Another thing, and mitigate your risk. Another thing, guys, that you really should do if you want to become a millionaire, and you need to start this as young as possible due to compounding interest. Go to Google and type in compounding interest investment calculator, and you could see starting at 18, 20, 30, 35, 40, just the difference it would be. But guys, you need to contribute every year the maximum amount that you're able to afford into a Roth IRA. I remember I was watching Graham Stephan's channel. This was maybe 8 years ago. And I remember I was probably 23, 4 at the time, and I started a Roth IRA. One of the best decisions of my life, and I'm so happy that I saw that video. So guys, again, do your research on a Roth IRA. It's very easy to open up. I forget the limits, and it's changed, and it depends on your income, but ultimately, it's pretty safe to say I think the maximum you could contribute is like $5,500 to $6,500 per year. Now, the difference between a Roth IRA and a regular IRA is a Roth IRA, basically you have to keep it, kind of as long as a 401k, right? Till you're 55, 60, I forget, doesn't matter. But it's tax-free when you take it out. That's the key. So you're going to be compounding, adding it every year, right? It's going to be growing. It's going to be compounding over the decades. And when you pull it out when you're older, it's going to be tax free. So I forget the exact numbers. You could Google it or go to Chat GPT. But basically, if you start at like 21, 25, etc., and you contribute X amount and you let it compound every year, you could be a tax free millionaire very easily that way, guys. So again, a Roth IRA is very key. One other thing I'll call out is if you make too much money, such as me now, you can't really do a Roth IRA. You have to do what's called a backdoor Roth IRA. So you could still contribute the $6,000, but you basically have to put it into a regular IRA and then call up, your brokerage or whatever, your exchange, and then they'll tell you how to basically transfer the fund into your Roth. It's really stupid and it's a pain in the ass. But guys, those are some really key things that I want to mention in this video. Back to how I became a millionaire, right? So I would say my net worth around 24, 25. I remember my net worth at 25, 26 was 18,000. I remember I had in my bank, and I probably had around 30K maybe in my Fidelity. And basically, I still wasn't making too much money. Ended up basically climbing the ladder. And long story short, I made it into a sales role where now I was really handling bigger deals and was making good commissions. So I ended up crushing it in that role. I remember I was pulling in 300K one year, maybe 250 the next year. Then I had a down year, maybe made, 125, 150, because my base salary was still six figures, right? So through my performance, I got promoted at around 27 years old to handle the absolute biggest accounts at the company, right? So the bigger the account, the higher the transaction is and the more money you'd make, right? So there were two deals. One of the deals was the largest in the history of the company. And again, for confidentiality reasons, I won't get into too much about it. But again, these deals take a long time to close. And basically I closed two deals back to back. One deal after taxes, I made $214,000 after taxes. And the other deal, I made $154,000 after taxes. And these deals were back to back. So I basically got the money within 60 days of each other. I remember when that hit my bank account, I already was doing really, really well for myself. And through a net worth calculator, I was actually a 1%er. Then I fell to a 2%er for my age group. And then this put me back into the 1%. After these commissions. What I did with those commissions is I ultimately invested them super, super heavily into mutual funds and Fidelity, right? Really, really big at investing. One thing I regret, which we'll see if it pays off, I put a lot of money, way more than I should, in crypto. I believe it's going to work out. Currently, I'm down about $200,000 lifetime in crypto. I actually put the money in crypto instead of buying a house or a condo, which I actually regret, but I'm hoping over the next 6 to 12 to 18 months, I won't regret that decision. As you guys know, the tariffs, things like that have really, really killed a lot of people's investment portfolios. So due to the tariffs and things like that, my net worth right now is hovering right through my assets, my liquid cash, etc., is hovering right around like 720. So just wanted to throw that out there. Now, another thing, guys, that's really important is living below your means. We live in a society where people want to flex so hard. They want to buy the new shiny car, the new Corvette, the new whatever. They want to get a house as soon as possible. They want designer this. They want the drip, the Gucci, the Louis, the Prada, the jewelry. And guys, it's I guess it's easy for me to say because I had enough money where I could buy nice things and still look like I'm doing really well for myself, but still investing and saving a lot. But at the end of the day, guys, you need to live below your means and kill your ego. So I'm someone, I still live in, I love the apartment. It's good enough for me, but I don't live in that nice of an apartment. I guarantee you that I am the richest person in this whole building. I drive a 10-year-old car. When I actually graduated from college, my parents gave me my mom's car again, was extremely thankful for that. I still drive that car, fully paid, never had a car payment in my whole life. Again, guys, I know that helps set me up to be successful. But again, guys, I see people, okay? I know a lot of people in my personal life who have bought Teslas, luxury cars, And the percentage of the net worth that they're investing in a car, a depreciating asset, is less than me buying a Lamborghini with my net worth. So basically what I'm trying to say is I know a lot of people where them buying a Tesla would actually be a smarter financial decision if I bought a Lambo right now, right? I could buy the Lambo, I could buy the condo, I could buy the Rolex right now. Not doing it, invested the money. Again, I put a lot in crypto. Maybe the joke's on me. I also lost, guys. Another thing I'll mention is I lost $90,000, about $92,000. I have the exact amount documented in my phone, but I've lost $92,000 lifetime playing poker. So obviously I have a little bit of a addictive personality, a little bit of a gambling trait, if you can't tell, with investing poker. So if I never played poker, my net worth at its all-time peak would have been about $1.1 million. So that's another regret I have, guys. Don't gamble. Don't try to flex. Live below your means. Invest the money. Eat frugally, guys. I'm someone, this is something I enjoy, but I eat out a lot. Like I've probably, no lie, I've probably spent 6 figures on food. Easy, just dining out in probably the last 8 years, right? That's probably my biggest expense. Something I really enjoy. It's kind of a hobby of mine as well. But at the end of the day, guys, buy an air fryer, learn how to cook, learn how to grill, even use a meal prep service. They're not that affordable, but compared to Uber Eats and eating out all the time, if that's what you got to do due to your busy schedule, do that. At the end of the day, right? Beans and rice, as Dave Ramsey says, right? A lot of us want more than that, but eggs, chicken, ground beef, rice, right? You could eat kind of a bodybuilding diet to lifemaxx and to get, good health and good diet and fitness goals and to look good. That's affordable. Guys, go to YouTube, type in, bulking on a diet, bulking on a budget, cutting on a budget. So food is something I would limit. Guys, so again, those are just kind of thoughts that I have overall on my story of how I became a millionaire. Again, I've made a lot of dumb financial decisions, but I've made a lot of smart ones. So in summary, really quickly to recap, get out of debt as quickly as you can. Invest in a Roth IRA. If you don't have it, open it up tomorrow. Invest into mutual funds. Those are going to go up forever, and they're basically risk averse. And those are really the main key takeaways from this video. So guys, appreciate you tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.